So this has been lingering on my mind for a while. You see, I have never played a Silent Hill game, not a single one, but it's got such a huge cultural presence. I mean, whenever horror games are being discussed, Silent Hill is basically guaranteed to be mentioned, that I feel like I'm missing out whenever it's brought up. Like, don't get me wrong, Resident Evil is great and all, but aside from Resident Evil 7 and that one level in Village, I think most people would agree that the series isn't really scary. I mean, it's got a spooky atmosphere to it, but like, it's not gonna keep you up at night, you know? Silent Hill, on the other hand, on top of nailing and immortalizing the creepy, foggy setting of their games, has the characters encounter all sorts of fucked up shit that messes with you on a psychological level. Like, it will make you feel uneasy. I've always wanted to play a Silent Hill game, but could never get around to it, mainly because a lot of the games aren't exactly easy to access on new platforms. But when the Silent Hill 2 remake was announced in late October of 2022, I was like, hell yeah, this is awesome. It's the most popular game in the franchise, and now that it's being remade for modern platforms, it's going to be a great place for me to start. I did hear a lot of concerns being raised about Bloober being chosen to develop the game, and while I do think they have a funny name, I'm not really worried about their ability to properly remake this game, and I'll tell you why. From a pure graphical perspective, their games are perfectly fine. They are able to make a game that has good, high-quality visuals. The main complaint people have about Bloober is the poor writing and storytelling they have in their games, but in the case of Silent Hill 2, the writing and storytelling is already done for them. All they have to do is take that writing and storytelling and give it new, modern graphics, and from what we've seen, they are more than capable of doing that. Unfortunately, Silent Hill has a curse, that curse being Konami. It was already a huge shit show when they canceled PT and disrespected Kojima, but we figured with them reviving Silent Hill and announcing a bunch of new games in the series, maybe they would be able to redeem themselves. Except all of those games were announced in October of 2022, and that is the first and only time we've heard from any of them to this day. The only exception is Silent Hill Ascension, which, if you've been following the news, is a shitty pay-to-win role-playing game that's been a complete joke ever since it came out. Like, Konami, no, I don't think you understand. You do not release this type of thing as a forerunner to other bigger games, okay? This is side content. This is something you release as like a mobile game to promote another more major title. It's like those Resident Evil spin-offs like Reverse and Resistance. They're not great games, but it's a side dish and not the main course, so it's okay. This Ascension thing had no business being sent out the door before anything else. But enough about that pathetic excuse of a game. What we want to know is, where is the Silent Hill 2 remake? The crown jewel of this whole Silent Hill revival has been sitting without updates ever since its reveal over a year ago. We've gotten many anecdotal stories about the game being technically ready, that statement being a mistranslation, potential release dates, potential events where we might see more of the game, but as far as official information,
nothing! Nothing!
What gives, Konami? You announced this thing over a year ago, generated a ton of hype, then proceeded to put a gag order on the developers, release an unmoderated Twitch chat for money, and then crawled back into the shadows. That's not even beginning to cover Silent Hill F and Townfall, but to be fair, those do seem to be in very early stages of development, so who knows when that'll come around. But with the Silent Hill 2 remake, it looked like you guys already had a bunch of stuff. It looked like you just needed to add finishing touches and then send it out the door. But clearly not, because it's been over a year and you're not giving us any status updates whatsoever. I just don't get why they think this lack of communication is a good idea. Remakes aren't usually a direct one-to-one copy of the original game. There's probably going to be some stuff added in and cut out. Don't you think we should see some of those things so that we can actually give you feedback? Or maybe there's a mechanic in the original Silent Hill 2 that needs to be reworked or improved. Well, we could give you feedback on how to do just that, but the user base can't do any of that stuff if you don't give them anything to work with. We're not asking for a release date, not even a release year. All we want is a new trailer, some gameplay footage, maybe a couple new screenshots, literally something. Anything, just so that we know about the current status of the game and what you've been working on, because I mean, it has been over a year since this was announced. Surely you've made some progress during that time, right? Right? There is the possibility that because Bloober has a questionable reputation, they're afraid of showing anything in case it gets backlash, but honestly, it's much better to do that than to ship out a bad quality game and make apology statements afterwards. As long as you actually listen to the feedback and make improvements, it's in your best interest to show us your progress. Also, they recently announced a new video game, so I really hope they're not going to start flip-flopping between projects and barely getting anything done, because that's just not a good way to run things. You guys got a big game on your hands, please don't drop the ball on this one. Please. But from what I can tell, the publisher controls what footage gets released and when, and I just really don't get Konami's strategy here. Do you realize that you're losing out on extra hype and potential sales right here? Konami, you haven't given us anything this whole time, but
why not, you stupid bastard?
Why are you keeping this from us? It's not like the next iPhone where Apple doesn't say shit until the actual release date. We know this is happening and we want to know how it's going to look like, because that's what a normal game company does. They are working on a movie for Silent Hill, and there are some rumors that they want to release the remake alongside that, but fuck your movie, bro. Most video game movies are dog shit anyways. Make the game first, then release your shitty cash grab movie. Clearly you don't have a problem releasing a game before everything else, so I don't see why you're not doing it here. Holy shit. I mean, for crying out loud, the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, which was announced more recently than the one for Silent Hill 2, already has gameplay footage, whereas the Silent Hill 2 remake has nothing. This is not okay. But anyways, rant over. I just hope we get some info about this game before it releases, because people keep saying, let them cook, which I mean, yeah, let them cook, but we want to see how they're cooking because we want there to be a good game in the end. That's how video game development has been, and that's how it should stay. And yeah, that's basically the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This was your captain speaking. See you later.